Okay, my name is Penpa Tsering. Penpa means Saturday. Tsering means long life. I don't know my birth date, so I know that I was born on a Saturday, and then my parents wished me to live long. And I come from a very simple family, so it's a very simple name. This thing is describe Sikyong Penpa Tsering in 3 words. I like to be truthful. You may make mistakes, but if you're truthful, then you acknowledge that. The second word I would say committed, because once I'm committed to do something, then I put all my energy, my brain and my body into that job. And the third word would be futuristic or long term. When you plan, you have to plan ahead, long term, and look at what could be possible challenges, what could be possible opportunities, and then make sure that these challenges are not there. Yeah, 3 words. Second one?
Yes.
Who is Sikyong's favorite Tibetan singer? I think most of them are good, and particularly those who are, politically conscious or religiously conscious. I think most of them are good. Then, what does Sikyong like to do in his free time? I don't have free time these days. I have to be informed about everything. So I read a lot, I watch news. These days I make group calls with my seniors, former ministers, and this gives me a good opportunity to get their understanding of what we are doing. So I like to listen to constructive criticism. What was Sikyong's first job? My first job was working in a restaurant. Because I come from a poor background, I said, just like many of Tibetan families were since we came into exile. So while attending college, I was working in a restaurant. It was not a norm within the Tibetan community in India those days to work and study at the same time. I always believed that it's not just the textbook knowledge, it's the practical knowledge, and that helped me to start a restaurant in Pondicherry. Now, what does Sikyong see the future of CTA? His Holiness has been a visionary. He introduced democracy not even 1 year after coming into exile, under very, very difficult circumstances. It is very important that we strengthen the democratic structure and democratic processes and functions of the Central Tibetan administration that should carry us forward in the long run. When we are gone, the generation that came from Tibet worked hard, and now it is our generation that's carrying on the responsibility, and it's the new generation that has to take the responsibility, and that is what I see the future of Central Tibetan administration, carrying the torch forward for the Tibetans who are suffering inside Tibet. What is the significance of a Green Book? Till about 1962, all the expenses of the government in exile used to come from private office. So then Tibetans decided that we should be able to do something for our cause. And that was voluntary. That is why even today we call it the voluntary contribution of Tibetans. So the name of the Green Book is Thanglang Changmul Lagdep. So Cha itself has some connotation of a tax. So now it has become mandatory, but we still keep the name voluntary because when it started voluntarily. Now it is enshrined in the Tibetan Charter, which is our constitution now of the government in exile or the Central Tibetan administration. So it's mandatory for every Tibetan to pay the Green Book, and then they can avail all the facilities of the Central Tibetan administration. And this also allows you to vote in Tibetan elections. So if we want to be a self-sustaining community, then we have to contribute ourselves more. Then only we can get rid of this dependency culture. What leverage does our movement hold? His Holiness followed the principle of non-violence. This was practiced by Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. His Holiness continues to follow that, despite all the challenges, despite all the problems that we face in this world. So what we can tell the world through our movement is that for every conflict, non-violence is the only solution. Violence begets more violence. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. the leverage that our movement has is non-violence and peace.
A follow-up question to you. How to become more self-reliant, especially for Shirgit.
About 60% of Tibetans are still in India and Nepal and Bhutan. About 40% of the Tibetans are now outside India, Nepal and Bhutan. So they are in developed countries. The first generation who came didn't have much education, so they had to struggle very hard. Now the second generation that are born in these countries got education and has very good employment, and I'm very proud to say that we have a lot of doctors and techies and a lot of younger generations doing a lot of good things, and they also make good money. So one way of sustaining ourselves is to support our community. So lately there have been a lot of programs within the Tibetan community where a formal settlement or a camp, people who have moved out, now they support the camps. In the last 3 years, Tibetans outside India, Nepal, Bhutan have supported with about $3 million to the Tibetan communities in India and Nepal, and I'm sure there are many more who are sending money back home in Tibet. As a Tibetan, be outside the Central Tibetan administration, there are a lot of things you can do. You can share your expertise, whether it's in computer technology or animation, all those kind of things. You can always work with us. We also make sure to engage with the younger generations of Tibetans with a lot of skill. We are also in the process of creating a resource pool of Tibetans everywhere so that every person with a particular skill can work with the CTA to improve our community or give more weightage to our struggle. So there are so many things that we can do. You don't need to be in Dharamsala all the time. You can be working in a big company, and with the good salary that you have, you can support 2-3 Tibetan children back in Dharamsala, and that's good enough to be a good Tibetan. So what is the current status on the Sino-Tibetan dialogue? And I keep saying we have to engage with the Chinese if we have to find a solution through the middle way policy. But it has to be the right Chinese leadership to understand the value of the middle way policy. Under President Xi Jinping, it doesn't look very likely. But you never know. Things change. Of course, we have to keep our communications going, whether it's working or not, because we have to look at the long term. And I have admitted to having back channels with the Chinese. We still do. Very early to say whether it will yield any result or not. Yeah, so the next batch is what is Sikyong's vision for boosting women representation in leadership roles? I'm the only man in the cabinet right now. I believe in women empowerment, youth empowerment, and all that. Opportunities is equal to empowerment. As Sikyong, I provided opportunities for 3 women to become ministers. We have now 2 representatives, Geneva and Belgium, and we are hoping for more younger women to take up leadership roles. This one is what are Sikyong's 3 top priorities highlight Tibet environment concerns on a global scale. We call ourselves the heavenly abode land surrounded by snow mountain ranges. Westerners term Tibet as the roof of the world because of its altitude. Now, Chinese environmental scientists call Tibet the third pole, and the Asians call Tibet the water tower of Asia. And Tibetan Plateau has the largest reserve of glaciers and permafrost. So we have 10 major rivers flowing into 10 different countries, and the countries that I've mentioned from Pakistan to China are some of the most densely populated areas in the world. So there are global implications. You might even be surprised to find correlations between Amazonia and the Tibetan Plateau. So there were scientific studies done over a long period of time on climatic conditions from Amazonia to Tibetan Plateau, and they found that when there's more rain in Amazonia, then there's less snow in Tibet. When there's more snow in Tibet, there's less rain in Amazon. Through that, we can prove how interdependent we are in our nature of existence. On a global scale, we have to promote Tibet as a third pole, Tibet as water tower of Asia, and the importance of Tibet as the roof of the world. What can we do to foster greater unity within the Tibetan community? Apply your mind, understand the reality, understand our history. Since I came into office, we focus a lot on history. So one reason is, of course, to send a message to the Chinese government that you cannot distort Tibetan history. The second message is to the international community. You just cannot parrot what Chinese government wants you to say, that Tibet is part of PRC. Please read Tibetan history. That's why I carry these two books, Michael Van Praag's and Mick Boltier's book called Tibet Brief 2020, because he's an expert in international law and he proves beyond doubt that whether it's Tibet-Yuan, Tibet-Ming, Tibet-Qing relationship, or as per international law today, Tibet has never been part of China. And then you have a Chinese professor, Professor Lau Hansha. He was intrigued by this question as to why is Chinese government asking every country to say Tibet is part of PRC if Tibet had already been part of China. That is why he decided to study imperial Chinese historical records. And he proves beyond doubt that imperial China has never considered Tibet part of China. And the third message is for the Tibetans. If we don't study our own history, who else will? If you don't study, what will you pass on to the next generation about Tibetan history? And the fourth one, we have middle way advocates, we have independence advocates. This cabinet, the 16th cabinet, has come out with this formula where independence advocates and middle way advocates work together. Because for even independent advocates, if you cannot prove the independent status of Tibet historically, then how can you fight for independence in future? Now, as middle way advocates, we focus on the historical status of Tibet as an independent state, as we talk about the US House resolution and efforts being made at the Senate level to make it a law in the United States to counter China's false narrative on Tibetan history, to gain value for the middle way, to gain leverage for the middle way. Till that space, we are all same. So why don't we work together? Why can't we work together? And just yesterday, I got asked by a young student in Boston, will this be carried on in the next generation? Then I said, it's up to you. You have to decide whether you want to be badly influenced by your peers or you want to be positively influenced by your peers. You have to apply your mind there. Okay, the last one. What, according to Sikyong, are the three key things you need to focus on? First, you have to understand that you are a Tibetan, whether you are a Tibetan American or Tibetan Canadian or Tibetan French or whatever. As His Holiness says, this life, your flesh, your blood, your bone is all Tibetan. You can't change that. Understanding that you are a Tibetan and then knowing that you have an added responsibility. So once you have that understanding, then this will propel you towards understanding the situation of Tibet and what China is doing to Tibet today. So once you understand all that, then you can be a very good spokesperson for the Tibetans inside Tibet. Three things. First, understand you are a Tibetan and be proud of being a Tibetan. Understand the basics about Tibet. Second thing, understand Tibet and what Chinese government is doing to Tibet. And third thing, be able to be a good advocate for Tibet internationally, wherever you live. Three responsibilities. Okay, thank you so much.